When it comes to saying goodbye to loved ones, many find themselves facing a controversial choice, opting for cremation or burial. While tradition has often taught us that burial is the only respectable way to honor the dead, the truth is that this view may be more tied to cultural beliefs than to meaningful and sustainable practices. What do you really know about the environmental impacts of each choice? And, more importantly, how does this affect your grief and the memory you want to leave for those you loved? Imagine a scenario where cremation isn't just a practical option, but a solution that can ease the pain of mourning and open up new possibilities for honoring those who have passed. As we explore the intersection of farewell practices and the profound spiritual questions surrounding life and death, you may discover that truly honoring a loved one can be far from conventional methods. Get ready to rethink your beliefs, as what you learn could transform how you perceive death and the legacy you wish to leave behind. In recent years, cremation has seen a remarkable rise in popularity. More and more people are opting for this method over traditional burial. Estimates suggest that by the next decade, up to 70% of individuals may choose cremation. This shift reflects not only changing preferences but also a broader societal trend towards simpler and more personalized end-of-life arrangements. Many factors contribute to this growing trend. For instance, cremation often comes with lower costs compared to traditional burial, making it an attractive option for families. Additionally, as urban living increases and available land decreases, families find that cremation provides a space-saving solution for honoring their loved ones. The flexibility of having ashes stored in urns or scattered in meaningful locations adds to the appeal, allowing for more creative memorial options. Cultural influences also play a significant role in this trend. As society becomes more diverse, people are exposed to various beliefs and practices surrounding death and remembrance. This exposure often leads to greater acceptance of cremation, as individuals embrace different ways to celebrate life after death. The internet and social media further facilitate these conversations, allowing families to explore their options and share their experiences. Moreover, the idea of leaving a smaller environmental footprint resonates with many. Cremation is often seen as a more sustainable alternative to traditional burial, which requires land and can involve the use of harmful chemicals. As awareness of environmental issues grows, the choice of cremation aligns with a desire to make more eco-friendly decisions, even in death. Ultimately, this rising trend towards cremation signals a shift in how we view death and memorialization. As people prioritize personal meaning and environmental concerns, it's clear that the landscape of end-of-life choices is changing. The question now is, how will these evolving preferences shape our understanding of what it means to honor those we've lost? Cremation explained. Cremation is a process that reduces a body to ashes through extreme heat. This method effectively returns the body to its original elements, mirroring the natural cycle of life. In biblical texts, the act of returning to dust is a significant theme, symbolizing the transient nature of our earthly existence. It's fascinating how this ancient practice connects with contemporary beliefs about life and death. During cremation, a specially designed furnace, known as a cremation chamber, reaches temperatures of around 1,500 to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This intense heat vaporizes the body, leaving behind only bone fragments. These fragments are then processed into fine ashes, which families can choose to keep in an urn or scatter in a place of significance. This transformation can be seen as a profound return to nature, reinforcing the biblical notion of humans being made from dust. While the process may seem stark to some, many find comfort in the simplicity and clarity it provides. Families can create meaningful rituals around the scattering or display of ashes, celebrating the life lived rather than focusing on the loss. This shift in perspective aligns with many spiritual teachings that emphasize the importance of remembering the joy and love shared with those who have passed. Moreover, cremation allows for a unique personalization of memorial services. From themed ceremonies to intimate gatherings, families have the freedom to create a farewell that truly reflects their loved one's personality. This flexibility contrasts with traditional burials, which often adhere to more rigid formats. As such, cremation can be a fitting choice for those who seek to honor their loved ones in a way that resonates with their individual values. Ultimately, understanding cremation involves recognizing its emotional and spiritual dimensions. As we reflect on this process, we see how it connects deeply with biblical principles and the cycles of life, urging us to celebrate life's journey and embrace our shared humanity. Biblical perspective. When it comes to the Bible's stance on cremation, it's essential to understand the context. The scriptures do not explicitly endorse or prohibit cremation. Traditional burial practices are mentioned over 200 times throughout the Bible, highlighting a cultural norm rather than a divine command. This opens the door for interpretation and discussion regarding cremation as a valid choice for believers. The Bible emphasizes the importance of the body and the dignity of the deceased. Many passages focus on the respectful treatment of human remains, but they do not provide clear guidelines against cremation. This absence of prohibition suggests that believers can thoughtfully consider their options without fear of judgment. It's a reminder that what matters most is the intention behind our choices, not strictly the method we use. Furthermore, the biblical narrative frequently highlights God's sovereignty over life and death. In moments of mourning, believers find comfort in knowing that God is ultimately in control, regardless of how we choose to honor our loved ones. This assurance allows individuals to explore cremation without anxiety about its implications for their faith or spiritual journey. Historical practices depicted in the Bible, such as the burning of bodies under specific circumstances, often arose from practical needs rather than a societal endorsement of cremation. For example, when Saul and his sons were killed in battle, their bodies were burned to prevent further desecration. These instances show that cremation in the Bible is more about context and necessity rather than a prescribed practice. In summary, while the Bible does not directly endorse cremation, it also does not forbid it. Believers are encouraged to seek guidance through prayer and reflection, considering both the spiritual significance of their choices and the cultural context in which they live. This thoughtful approach allows for a personal connection to the decisions surrounding end-of-life practices. Historical references. Throughout biblical history, there are instances of bodies being burned, but it's crucial to differentiate these actions from the practice of cremation as we understand it today. The accounts of individuals like Saul and his sons show that burning was often a necessity due to specific circumstances, such as war or contamination, rather than a standard burial practice. These historical references offer valuable insights into the cultural practices of the time. In the case of Saul, after his death, his body was burned to prevent the Philistines from desecrating it further. This action demonstrates a practical response to an urgent situation rather than a celebration of cremation as a method of burial. It highlights how, in certain contexts, cremation may serve a practical purpose but does not establish it as a cultural norm within the Israelite community. Historical context is vital for understanding how death and burial were approached in biblical times. Burial was the preferred method for honoring the dead, often involving elaborate rituals and grave markers. The practices surrounding death were deeply rooted in cultural beliefs, emphasizing respect and remembrance. Furthermore, while some biblical figures experienced cremation, their stories often reflect the complexities of their circumstances. The burning of bodies was not indicative of a widespread acceptance of cremation but rather a response to immediate needs. This perspective helps clarify the nuances in the biblical narrative surrounding death and burial. Ultimately, these historical references prompt us to consider how cultural norms evolve over time. As we look at the past, we see how societal practices shape our understanding of death, urging us to approach the topic of cremation with an open heart and mind while respecting the traditions that have come before us. Cultural changes. The practice of cremation reflects significant changes in cultural norms and beliefs over time. In many societies, cremation is now viewed as a valid and even preferred choice, often associated with personal freedom and individual expression. These evolving views challenge traditional perspectives and encourage open discussions about death and memorialization. Different cultures interpret cremation through various lenses. In some traditions, it is seen as a form of purification, providing a way to release the soul from the physical body. This belief aligns with many spiritual philosophies that emphasize the transition of the soul after death. Such interpretations can offer comfort to those who embrace cremation, viewing it as a meaningful step in the journey of life. However, not all cultures view cremation positively. Some traditions, particularly within certain religious communities, hold firmly to burial as the only acceptable method of handling the deceased. This divergence in beliefs can create tension as society continues to evolve and more individuals opt for cremation. Understanding these cultural differences is essential for fostering respectful conversations around end-of-life choices. As global communication increases, people are exposed to a wider variety of practices and beliefs regarding death. The influence of social media and the internet allows individuals to share their experiences, leading to greater acceptance of diverse approaches to memorialization. This sharing of perspectives encourages dialogue that can bridge gaps between traditional views and modern practices. Ultimately, the evolving norms surrounding cremation invite us to reflect on our beliefs and values regarding death. As we navigate these changes, it's crucial to remain open-minded and respectful of the different ways people choose to honor their loved ones, acknowledging that each choice carries its unique significance. Environmental considerations. One of the compelling reasons many people are turning to cremation is its perceived environmental benefits. Compared to traditional burial, which often requires significant land use and can involve harmful chemicals, cremation is often seen as a more sustainable option. This growing awareness of environmental issues has led to increased interest in eco-friendly end-of-life choices. Cremation uses fewer resources overall, eliminating the need for caskets, burial plots, and the maintenance of grave sites. With the increasing population and the limited availability of land, many families are considering how their choices impact the planet. As a result, cremation aligns with a desire to make more responsible decisions about death and memorialization. Moreover, many crematories are now implementing greener practices, such as using energy-efficient furnaces and reducing emissions. These advancements contribute to the sustainability of the cremation process, making it a more appealing option for environmentally conscious individuals. As society becomes more aware of its ecological footprint, these practices are likely to gain even more traction. The movement towards greener options is not just limited to cremation, it reflects a broader trend in society where individuals seek to live more sustainably in all areas of life. From choosing biodegradable urns to exploring natural burial options, people are looking for ways to honor their loved ones while being mindful of the earth. Ultimately, the environmental considerations surrounding cremation serve as a reminder of our interconnectedness with the world around us. As we make choices about how to honor those we've lost, it's essential to consider how these decisions affect not only our lives but also the planet we share. Questions about resurrection. When contemplating cremation, many people have questions about its implications for resurrection. One common concern is whether being cremated affects the possibility of resurrection in the afterlife. However, it's essential to remember that God's power transcends physical boundaries. The belief that God can recreate bodies from ashes, just as He formed humanity from dust, offers comfort to those grappling with these questions. The biblical narrative assures us of God's ability to restore life in various forms. Just as He created Adam from the dust of the ground, it's within His power to resurrect individuals regardless of how their earthly remains were treated. This foundational belief provides a reassuring perspective for many who may worry about the impact of cremation on their eternal destiny. Furthermore, discussions about resurrection highlight the essence of faith. Many spiritual traditions emphasize that the soul transcends the physical body, reinforcing the belief that our true identity is not limited to our earthly form. This understanding encourages individuals to focus less on the physical remains and more on the spiritual journey that continues beyond this life. For those concerned about the permanence of ashes, it's important to remember that God's ability to resurrect is not confined by human methods. Whether through burial or cremation, God can restore life in ways beyond our comprehension. This assurance can bring peace to those making decisions about end-of-life arrangements. Ultimately, contemplating resurrection in light of cremation invites a deeper reflection on faith, identity, and the promises of the divine. It encourages individuals to trust in God's power and grace, reminding us that what truly matters is not how we leave this world, but the legacy of love and faith we leave behind. Insights on decomposition. Studies in science reveal fascinating insights about what happens to our bodies after death, regardless of whether we choose burial or cremation. Over time, all bodies naturally decompose, returning to the earth in one way or another. This process underscores the biblical theme of humans being made from dust, reinforcing our connection to the natural world and the cycles of life. For those concerned about the method of disposal, it's worth noting that the end result is often similar. Whether through cremation or traditional burial, the body eventually breaks down, returning to the elements from which it came. This understanding can help alleviate fears about cremation, emphasizing the natural progression of life and death. Moreover, the scientific exploration of decomposition sheds light on the power of God in restoring life. Just as He created humanity from the dust of the earth, the process of decomposition serves as a reminder that life is both temporary and transformative. Understanding this cycle can foster a sense of peace, knowing that death is not the end but part of a greater journey. Additionally, discussions about decomposition can inform decisions about memorialization. As people consider their options, they can reflect on the significance of the memorial service and how they want to be remembered. Whether through ashes scattered in a beloved location or a traditional burial site, the focus can shift to honoring the memories and legacies of those who have passed. Ultimately, insights about decomposition encourage us to embrace the natural cycles of life while celebrating the connections we share with one another. Understanding these processes helps demystify death, allowing us to approach it with a sense of peace, acceptance, and gratitude for the lives we've lived. Personal considerations. When individuals consider cremation, it's essential for them to reflect on the desired memorialization for themselves or their loved ones. Questions about how they want to be remembered can guide their decisions, helping to create a meaningful farewell that resonates with personal values. Whether it's a simple urn on a mantelpiece or a scattered memorial at a cherished spot, the choice can reflect their unique journey. Each individual has different preferences when it comes to memorialization. Some may wish for their ashes to be scattered in a location that holds special significance, while others may prefer a traditional urn displayed at home. These personal considerations are essential in shaping the narrative of how we honor those we've lost and celebrate their lives. Furthermore, discussing preferences with family members can help alleviate any potential stress or disagreements that may arise after a passing. By having open conversations about end-of-life wishes, families can foster understanding and ensure that everyone is on the same page. This approach helps create a supportive environment during a challenging time. As people reflect on their choices, it's also important to think about the emotional aspects of memorialization. The desire for a lasting connection to loved ones is a powerful motivator in choosing between cremation and burial. Understanding the emotional significance of these decisions can lead to more fulfilling and meaningful memorial experiences. Ultimately, personal considerations around cremation invite individuals to explore their beliefs and values surrounding death and remembrance. By approaching these choices with thoughtfulness and care, they can create a legacy that truly reflects their lives and the love shared with those they leave behind. Family convenience. When making decisions about burial or cremation, it's crucial to consider the convenience and emotional well-being of family members who will attend memorial services. Traditional burial can involve lengthy processes, including casket selection, grave preparation, and often more complex logistics. On the other hand, cremation can simplify many aspects of these arrangements, providing families with greater flexibility. The urgency of decomposition in traditional burials also plays a significant role in decision-making. With the time-sensitive nature of planning funerals, families often appreciate the efficiency that cremation can offer. This flexibility allows for more personalized memorial services, tailored to the specific needs and desires of those grieving. Additionally, families may find that cremation opens the door for unique memorialization options that can accommodate diverse schedules and preferences. For instance, ashes can be held for a memorial service at a later date, allowing loved ones to gather when it's most convenient for them. This option can be especially comforting in large families where members may need to travel long distances. The choice of cremation can also alleviate financial pressures that often accompany traditional burial practices. Families facing the costs of caskets, plots, and ongoing maintenance may find cremation to be a more manageable option. This consideration ensures that family members can focus on honoring their loved ones rather than being burdened by financial stress. Ultimately, the convenience for families when choosing between burial and cremation is a vital factor to consider. By prioritizing the needs and well-being of those left behind, individuals can make choices that not only honor their loved ones but also foster healing and support in times of grief. As we wrap up this exploration of cremation and burial, it's clear that the choices we make surrounding death are not just about tradition, they reflect our values, beliefs, and even our environmental responsibilities. Now that you're equipped with insights about the implications of these decisions, how will you honor your loved ones in a way that resonates with your beliefs? Are you ready to challenge conventional wisdom and embrace a new perspective on what it means to say goodbye? Your journey doesn't have to end here. Reflect on how these insights can transform not only your understanding of memorialization but also your approach to life and legacy. What steps will you take to align your choices with your values? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experiences could inspire others who are navigating similar paths. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications, so you can continue learning and growing with us. Together, let's delve deeper into these important discussions and empower each other to make choices that truly reflect our lives and beliefs.